Welcome to the garden. It is the May long weekend here in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, and we are pretty excited about what's been going on with our Zone 5 garden. So let me give you a complete tour of everything that we've been doing. Okay, buckle in guys. This is gonna be a long one. We are gonna do an absolute complete tour. We're gonna do everything.
This is our first year farming, and so we've been building lots of stuff for the farm, but we can't do that anymore. Now we have to focus on getting plants in the ground, which means prepping bed space so that we have a place to put it. This spot is going to be more for like home garden stuff. We want to have plants like tomatoes close to the house so that the kids can be distracted and, you know, nibble on these ones, as opposed to moving down the property where the farm stuff is and, you know, disrupting that area. So this is a home garden, and, you know, it's going to be a mix of things.
Everything is a weedy mess. We've been so busy trying to just get stuff going, we haven't been able to maintain anything that we had. But despite that, the herb garden is growing great. All these herbs that we transplanted in here last summer have completely bounced back. They're going strong. They're looking fairly happy. They need a weed, but, you know, they will forever. So one section I'm really excited for this year is my my mint experiment. You're never supposed to plant mint in the ground because it is a nasty weed, so I planted mint in the ground just to see how much of a nasty weed it is. So this is, I want to see which is stronger, grass or mint. And so far, it's jury's still out on it, but I'm hoping mint. This is one of our flower beds. I planted about 1,000 bulbs here last fall, and I'm pretty happy I did. They came up, they were looking super beautiful. At this point, it's a little bit hard to see because mostly what we have is dandelions. But there is still stuff in here. It's still growing, hasn't completely drowned yet, and hopefully once everything's planted, we can start doing that weed, we can get things back. And the plan for this is it's going to get mulched and composted, and then hopefully it'll maintain. No matter what, it's going to look pretty. Just might be popping above the grass. Another thing that we transplanted last year, and Ian was a little bit of a non-believer, but I told him, was my strawberries. All of this was very sad looking strawberries last summer. But now they're up, they're happy, they're blooming away, and at this point it really isn't going to be long before we're picking berries. I'd say probably 2 weeks. I'm seeing some fruit starting to form. Another section that we didn't know what was going to happen with it was our raspberries. All these dead sticks sticking up out of the ground, you know, just kind of dead and unhappy. This is our raspberry patch, and we didn't know what was going to survive and what wasn't, but I'm happy to see there's lots of growth popping up out of the root stalks that were in the ground. This isn't completely gone, and by next year and the years to follow, we'll actually have a happy, healthy raspberry bed.
In this greenhouse, we have peppers and eggplants and cucumbers and zucchinis, lots of stuff that likes it really hot. This greenhouse is kind of like where we're selling this stuff for the nursery sale, and we're probably about 2/3 of the way through the nursery sale season. We're doing all right. With the nursery sale, we were hoping to sell $3,000 or $4,000 maybe. Right now, we're sitting somewhere at like $1,500 or so we're gonna fall a bit short of where we want it to be, but it's still been really productive. We've met lots of our neighbors and people in the area, and we've already started making some connections, which is more what this season is about. It's more about working the kinks through and meeting people than it is about, you know, the hard numbers. But we're certainly going to have lots of things to plant in the ground, and we're going to have a pretty sizable donation to like a local charity that grows food with a lot of our tomatoes that we won't have the ability to sell in time. With this greenhouse, we're talking about it, we might try and grow some loofahs and maybe some cucumbers in here through the summer, but this greenhouse is reaching the end of its kind of like operational time frame for, you know, we're not expecting to be able to use it in the heat of the summer. It's just going to be too hot in here. This is the stump throne. I've been digging up all these old cherry stumps and piling them up here. I'm not actually supposed to be digging up cherry stumps according to Serina, because I tweaked my back last year when I was doing it, so she wants me to give it a couple more years. But every time I hit it with the tiller, it's so annoying, and then I can't get the beds tilled up in the same way, so I end up digging them up anyways. I had to get stitches the other day on my thumb, and I started digging up stumps the day after I got the stitches removed, and I ripped the stuff open and it started bleeding again. So I got a pretty healthy dose of I told you so's there for one night, and then Serina in return got a really clean house because I didn't do anything in the yard for a couple days. This is what we were working on right before we started filming. We are prepping this bed area for the flowers. Serina's going to sell cut flowers this summer, and this is the area that we are prepping to grow them.
I really appreciate all the work that Ian has been doing on this bed. This used to be our vegetable garden last summer when we moved in. We grew stuff in here, and then it had some things that we overwintered, but the plan was that this was going to be the cut flower garden because it's close to the house. We'll be able to see the flowers from the house. Makes it pretty. I have plans for this, somewhat. The plans for this aren't as solidified, but so far we put down some plastic. We had some plastic left over, and so we burned one for cosmos. We have the spacing for cosmos. We're going to do an entire bed of that, and then we burned another one of these plastic beds for zinnias. So I'm going to have an entire bed of zinnias, but when I was doing my research, it was saying it's as important to have filler as it is to have the big, beautiful flowers. So I have to make sure that I keep it balanced. So I got 2 beds of flowers, so I'm going to try to get 2 beds of filler type stuff in. I have some Ammi. I have all these basil that are filler. I have some amaranth. I have some celosia, something like that. I don't know flowers. Basically, I don't know flowers, so I need all the luck I can get on this. But you know, worst case scenario, they all die. We'll still have food to eat. One thing that we've realized as we've been preparing all this stuff to get planted is we don't have enough space, which feels insane to say because we obviously have enough space. But basically in our planning this winter and spring, the only thing we were thinking about is where we were going to plant stuff for the farm. You know, what flowers were going to get planted into the cut flower bed for the farm. But I'd been slowly picking up food for us. I have a couple bags of seed potatoes. I started 100 winter squash for us, and I have nowhere to put it. So another thing that I asked Ian to do was just to till like a little bit more on the side of every single garden bed that we had. And so the plan is this little strip here, I'm going to be putting in some seed potatoes for us, and then along here I'm going to have a row of sunflowers, and then I'm going to plant my winter squash, and hopefully the winter squash can then have the space to go and kind of mulch the garlic. It'll have a space to grow, maybe it'll help the garlic, hopefully it won't make the garlic suffer, and we can still get some winter squash out of it, because I don't know, I forgot to come up with that space. Oops.
It's always been my dream to have more garlic, and this year my dreams finally come true. I think we're doing like 500 heads of garlic, which is awesome, and barely enough. We'll see. But we haven't put any like maintenance effort into these beds hardly at all, and so they were super overgrown with weeds. And today and yesterday I've been pulling weeds, and we're gonna try and get this area covered in compost, because as you'll see, we need to move all the compost out, and this needs to be top dressed. So right now this is getting a little priority.
For the seedling sale, things were getting a little bit chaotic, so what I ended up doing is laying out all of my soil block seedlings into categories, and then I got Ian to put these hoops up for me where I then wrote what was what, so if Ian had to be the one to help people, he could look and know what it was. Obviously I got it up here, but you know, it's a lot of stuff for Ian
like
to...
200 things.
Yeah, there's like 200 things, so Ian doesn't have to remember it all. But yeah, so we basically have it so as people walk towards our greenhouse that has all the tomatoes, we can walk them past all the different seedlings that I can have, that we have, and I can be like, oh, we have this, we have this, we have this, and
hey, do you want to buy a bok choy that's already going to seed?
It's worked quite well. It's made it organized, and I feel easier for people to know what we have and what we don't have. These seedlings have gotten to be an issue. I did start them specifically only for last weekend and this weekend because these are the main planting weekends for our area. So the plan was that they'd be ready for that, and what I have at that point is just, it's done, just get rid of it. But it was so hot the last couple weeks that I was out here watering these blocks 3 times a day, and even then, stuff like this bok choy, it didn't like the heat, and so some of it did go to seed. It's garbage, but you know, most of it made it, and we actually sold some of it, so. This is our miscellaneous family garden. I planted this up with early spring stuff for us to eat. This bed of bok choy has been going crazy, and Ian's been out here eating his fill all day, every day for at least a couple weeks now. It's gone to seed now, so it's time to pull it and put something else in, but it's been nice. And we still have some giant red mustard that is happy and healthy despite the heat. And behind it, we didn't know where to put our strawberries, so we put a couple beds of strawberries in here because we bought 1,000 strawberry plants this spring and then didn't have time to plant 1,000 strawberry plants, so some of them are in there. They'll feed us a bit. And then I have a bed of radishes for me because I love radishes, so I need 1,500 radishes to eat. And then a bed of dill for the farm, and a bed of, I think it's called chim su? I don't know. It's a brassica, and it's very sad because it's getting eaten to death by flea beetle, which helped me to realize we have flea beetle on the farm, so there's that.
We came up with a super exciting plan. We were talking about where are we going to put our tomatoes, and we realized that we should just build one of our high tunnels right here and have our tomatoes nice and close to the house, as opposed to putting them way down to the bottom of the property. So moved up in priority order has been getting one of these high tunnels built for our tomatoes, and the tomatoes really have to be in the ground like soonish. So I have to move all this compost, and then behind it there's a couple piles of like a wood mulch that we got delivered last year. So I got to move that as well, and then we got to till this up. We're going to put landscape fabric down, and then we're going to build a high tunnel and plant like a couple hundred tomato plants here. When we bought 1,000 strawberry plants, we also bought 35 fall-bearing raspberry plants, and we were like, where are we going to put those? And we hadn't planned for it, but we found a spot. It's right here, and they're all planted, and lots of them are now growing, so that's really exciting.
Our other greenhouse is filled with all of our tomatoes for our seedling sale and for us to grow. We ended up starting 1,800 tomato plants, and I knew that I wasn't going to sell that many. I was hoping that maybe I could sell 1,000 of them, which I most definitely haven't done yet. A lot of these tomatoes are looking really good. They really liked that heat that we had. They're deceivingly old. These tomatoes are 10 to 11 weeks old, so they're actually well on their way to eating. But yeah, they've done really well in the paper pots. We planted them all up into the paper pots, and everyone who's come to buy them has been really excited. They're very happy with how healthy they're looking and with the price. So that was a success.
Did you get wet, Sam? Did you get wet?
Did they get you?
No.
We've had some casualties this spring. We bought over a dozen fruit trees last fall. We got a sweet deal. They were on blowout, and we got them in, and they were doing pretty good. This one even was beautiful with flowers, but something happened. I suspect the something that happened is we weren't watering it well enough. But this was a nectarine, so there could have been pests in it too. They're a hard one to keep alive.
The rest of the fruit trees seem to have done all right though. Now we have, oh, we don't have irrigation. Soon we'll have irrigation to, you know, keep them all watered too, so we won't have another mistake like we did earlier where we potentially, you know, killed one because we didn't water it. Farm's doing really well. We definitely have some grass to work out of the system in the first 5 beds, but you know, I'm not super worried about it because we talked to our buddy Kurt about it, and he says, really, you just got to keep tilling it and be really aggressive with the tilling and the tarping and stuff. So I know we'll get through it eventually. Just a, you know, a beginner problem. Look at all this choy. This is like, you know, super good looking stuff. I'm really excited about this. We were worried about all this stuff because we got that summer heat that came out for a little while, and all this stuff was looking like maybe it was just going to go right to seed, but the temperatures cooled down and we got it a bunch of water. We've been babying them, and now they actually look really healthy and they're doing great.
One of the perks of that summer heat, even if it means that we don't get to keep this choy till our first market, is everything else has just exploded. We might even be having beets for our first market. Things have grown so fast. In here we got beets, we got carrots, we got spinach. Our spinach bed is looking really great. This is a bed of radishes and turnips, which are looking right on track. We have the choys, we have kohlrabi. This should be ready for our first market. This is a bed of turnips, which looks like it's suffering a little bit from the flea beetle, but I still got my fingers crossed. We have another bed of beets. This section here is going to be where we do our lettuce throughout the entire season. We got the plastic in here, holes burnt into the pattern for what lettuce likes to be. And the plan is we'll pull it out, we'll plant new ones in, and this will maybe help us a little bit with the grass. Fingers crossed. We might still have grass coming up through the holes, but if this gives us a little bit of relief, it'll be money well spent. I have one bed of lettuce that isn't planted yet, but I'm going to be planting my seedlings that didn't sell into here so that we have a head lettuce to bring for our first couple markets. I have a bed of Swiss chard and kale. I love this bed because it looks like a rainbow. The bed here isn't planted because we just burnt this right before we started filming this, but we're gonna have our summer squash in here, zucchinis and some patty pans. And then this is our herb bed. I have cilantro seeded in here, as well as parsley and basil starts at the very end. And then I have 2 more beds of carrots and a bed of turnips and radishes here. And then the final bed is our second flush of bok choy, which means that if our other bok choy goes to seed, you know, at least by our second and third market, we'll have bok choy again. So we'll get a little bit of a test on if bok choy does well or not. We keep talking about getting chickens, which are supposed to be back here, but as you can see, we haven't done that yet. We still are hoping to get chickens this year, and then we're gonna kind of free range them out here and have a chicken coop. But it's gotten pushed back and back and back. If we get chickens at this point, it'll probably be, you know, kind of like July, or, you know, maybe we'll be looking at getting chickens in the fall from people who don't want to keep their chickens over the winter. So chickens coming soon. Just, we're gonna keep saying that for a while. We've been saying coming soon for a while, and we still coming soon. No date yet.
You need the time to build a chicken coop.
Yeah, we need someone come here, come visit us and build a chicken coop. And then we'll have chickens. Then you guys can see our chickens. Oh, and in case you didn't notice, we have merch. We got, I bought this. This is a hoodie with our new logo, and we have a Teespring link down below if you want one too. Then you can be as cool as I am. Ian didn't get one because he doesn't want to be as cool as me. So, sucks to be him, but you guys can be. Cool. I look good, right? Looks good.
We haven't even lived here for a full year yet, and this place is already looking pretty amazing in our opinion. We love working here, we love spending time on this garden and farm and working away at it. This is still the spring for us. This holiday weekend is when, you know, the general rule for being able to plant your, you know, tomatoes and all your vegetables in the garden is like, we're frost free, woo! So there's gonna be like a ton more stuff going on through the course of the year. We're really excited to you know, spend our time doing these types of things because this is what we love to do, and it's fun to like learn so much about, you know, stuff by pushing our limits. And so we're really excited for the future, and yeah, thanks for checking it out. Sky like weird.